Hello, and welcome back to the first week of Sega Saturn Month, or Saturn May, or whatever I decide to call this. Sega Saturn Month. I got a request on a Facebook post I made to the wonderful people of the Sega Saturn group that I'm a part of, asking me to talk about my import games, or my import stuff. My stuff that I have imported. We'll get to the big thing at the end. But yeah, I figured that would be a good chance for me to kind of show off some stuff I've had for a while, or stuff that I briefly skipped over in my Sega Saturn Collection video that I think I did last year, if I remember correctly. So, I'll start with the American stuff. Specifically, the major American thing. That is Magic Knight Rayearth. That game is very, very expensive. It is very, very expensive. And I just bought the disc about... I think I bought this about... When did I buy this? 10 years ago. I think I found Magic Knight Rayearth for 10 years ago. And that was 56 quid. Just the disc. 10 years ago. Nowadays, a complete copy, you're looking at like $1,000. Which is too much, quite frankly. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I don't like Magic Knight Rayearth, because it's one of the very few action RPGs from this time I can actually really get on board with. I loved this game. I loved it. I think it's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. But, unfortunately, when I had my Pseudo Saturn done, so if you have an action replay for the Sega Saturn, that allows you to kind of do... Well, I can't quite remember what that does. I think it allows you to kind of skip things. I can't remember. But you can get them edited with something called Pseudo Saturn. So Pseudo Saturn will... Oh yes, that's what it did. Action Replay basically let you play any region, but it wouldn't let you play Repro. I thought, there's a bunch of games I'm not going to play. I think stuff that I can't afford, like Dragon Force 2, or because that was, I think, entirely in Japanese, or Bulk Slash, though one day I will own Bulk Slash because I really like that game. You know, things I thought I wouldn't get eventually, kind of like Dark Savior and Saturn Bomberman. When I had it done, when I had Pseudo Saturn done, it wiped my save data for Magic Knight Rayearth, which is fine. A friend of mine bought that over from the States for me, along with a couple of GameCube games, I think. Yeah, Kirby's Air Ride. That cost me 30. It's now like hundreds, which is crazy. And awesome. And totally not worth it. Totally not worth it. She also bought me back Bug 2. So yes, Bug 2 is in a mostly Guardian Heroes box, apart from its manual and the game itself, which, okay, it's odd, very odd. She came back with this as well, and I was like, okay, cool, because I'd asked her to get me Bug 2, because I had Bug 1, I liked Bug 1, Bug 2 was quite expensive. I think at the time, even at the time, it was a lot more than Bug 1 was. Although now I think it's the other way around. I could be wrong. I don't really care. Bug 2's fine. It's fine. It's not great. It's better than its predecessor, let's put it that way. Bug 1 is... Yeah, it's awkward and painful and just generally not a lot of fun, quite frankly. Bug 2's a little bit better. They're not by much. Not by much. Yeah. Here's my final one. And I can guarantee you it's not one anybody's heard of, because nobody has heard of this. Nobody's heard of Heir of Zendor. Heir of Zendor is the legend and the land. The land of Heir of Zendor. Zendor, you stand a whatever Lee Pace says in that fucking movie. Yeah, so Heir of Zendor is a tactical strategy game by Koei, who were doing an awful lot of this back then. They were kind of the go-to guys for Yeah, actually, they were kind of the go-to guys for strategy games. So I think one of the major ones I have from them is Gemfire. I know they do Nobunaga's Ambition. That series has been going on, or Romance of the Three Kingdoms, actually. Romance of the Three Kingdoms. That has been going on for 30 plus years, that series. I don't have any of that. Well, no, do I? No, I don't have any of them. I've been meaning to pick them up, but Romance of the Three Kingdoms isn't really a story I'm particularly invested in. Heir of Zendor, though, is a sci-fi sort of game that's just very, very weird. It's very strange. It's all airships, but there's also spaceships, and it's just very weird. The story's very weird. All of it's very weird. Very strange game. I need to get around to playing it, but I kind of looked online. I was like, are there any videos so I can have a look at Heir of Zendor? None. There's nothing. Like, there's nothing about this game. Maybe I'll just start looking into Heir of Zendor and posting that online so people can be like, oh, that's what Heir of Zendor is. Yeah, so that's it for America. That's it. Oh no, that's not it. There is one other, if I can find it. If I can find... Ah, there you are. Yeah, she bought me this back as well. Mr. Bones! Mr. Bones! Yeah, I don't like Mr. Bones. Mr. Bones is a sort of rhythm-based platformer where you play as a skeleton, and it's shit. I didn't like it, quite frankly. I didn't even know there was an English release. Not an English release, but a PAL version. I didn't know there was a PAL version. I thought, hey, I'll get Mr. Bones. I like the Sega Saturn. There's a lot of games on there. Wouldn't mind playing Mr. Bones. God, no. No, just absolutely not. Absolutely not on that game. Not a fan. Okay, here's the Japanese lot. The Japanese games. And if you are a Sega Saturn owner, you own some Sega Saturn games from Japan. Because that console took off over there. Unlike over here, big time. It did not take off over here at all. And that's okay. But I'll start with what was probably the most expensive set of PowerPoint presentations I've ever purchased. That fat stack is the portrait collection for all of the fighters from Virtua Fighter, which is a little bit odd, quite frankly. We've got Sarah Byrant, sorry. We've got Sarah Byrant. We've got, what's this fella's name? Jackie Byrant, so I'm presuming her sibling. We've got Akira Yuki, who's kind of the main go-to guy, kind of like the Ryu of Virtua Fighter. He's kind of the first and foremost fella. Bit of a shame he wasn't included in Smash Bros. But then again, Virtua Fighter as a franchise hasn't had an installment since the PlayStation 3, I think. Yes, and the Xbox 360, Virtua Fighter 5. That was the last Virtua Fighter. We've got Pai-chan. Wolf Hawkhead. I think his name is Wolf Hawkhead. Hawkfield, sorry. Yep, Wolf Hawkfield, who I believe by the look of him looks Native American, which, sure. You've got Lao Chan. Don't know much about Lao Chan. Shundai. Leon Raphael, I think. Cage Maru, who looks eerily like Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat. And you've got, I think that's Jeffrey McWild, who, yeah, that's a name. All these are, well, they're PowerPoint presentations of the different characters in different portraits. And yeah, it's about as weird as weird as you expect. I picked this up for 50 quid, and I don't think it's worth it. I tried them. You know what? They do work in the Polymaker. It won't register what they are, but you can put them in, and you can use them. Which, to be fair, you're not going to need save states for this at all. You are not. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, to my credit, I've only looked at Sarah Bryant's. Yeah, a lot of this, you know, you've got very low pixel renders of these, just pictures of these characters. It's such a strange thing. I got it from retrogames.co.uk, who, you know, pretty cool guys. They have a YouTube channel, and they've got a couple of things on there I want to get a hold of. But that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to treat myself to a Christmas present. I'm going to spend 50 quid. I'm going to spend 50 quid on this. Turns out there are 11 of them. I think the other one, though, you can buy separately. But I think the 11th one came with Virtua Fighter Remix. So this did come over, but I think it all came as a part of Virtua Fighter Remix, which is quite strange. I'm looking very shiny in the photo. There we go. That's better. Okay. The Saturn's a weird system for me because I collect a lot of fighting games on it, which I don't do for other systems. I don't like fighting games. I'm very bad at them. Very bad. Terrible at them, in fact. But, you know, I kind of went, you know, I want some Japanese Sega Saturn games. I'm going to buy a bunch of just bundles. And the first Dead or Alive came with it, which is pretty sick. Newest 3D real fighting game now on the stage. Dead or Alive, which is your fate. See up to how you combat on Dead or Alive. Oh, Japan. Oh, translations. Oh, dear. It's dreadful. But this game's pretty solid. I've never really been into Dead or Alive. I know it mostly through Dead or Alive Volleyball. Oh, yes, I know it through Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball, which, you know what, I'm not complaining. I haven't actually got any of those games, largely because I think my wife would be grumpy with me. She'd be very grumpy if I owned Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball. Do I? I'm going to go look later. But before then, we've got all of the other Japanese games. This, I have no idea what this is. I don't. I don't know, for the life of me, what this particular game is. If you can read that, because most of the... Oh, come on, focus, you bastard. Most of the time, you'll have the Japanese... I think that's... Yeah, that's not regular Japanese. And then you got the English title there, on like the opposite side. For this and this... For this and this, not a clue. I have no idea what these are or where they're from. I just picked them up. They were in a shop in London for like £5 or £6, I think. Cheap, but yeah. I mean, even the manual, I think this... Yeah, yeah, no. All Japanese. I've never really looked in this manual. I don't know what this game is. I think rather horrifically... it might be a dating sim. It might be a dating simulator. Yay. Oh, it's NSC. Oh, okay. Is this NSC? NEC? 1999. That's a late Saturn release. That's a very late Saturn release. I've never looked at this too much. But yeah, that's an extremely late Sega Saturn release. Very, very late. Wow. The Sega Saturn had been discontinued by that point, hadn't it? I swear it had. It'd been discontinued in the West. I think it hung on for a couple more years in Japan. That's a late one. That's a very late one. Cool. If you know what that game is, I'll show it here one final time. If you can read that or recognise these, tell me, because I have no idea. Same with this one. I don't know what this is. It just says Martian Successor Nade Sicko on it. See? Right there. If you could focus, that would be peachy. Yeah. Take my word for it. Ooh, okay. Yeah. If you know what that is, tell me. I don't know what this game is, to be honest with you. Ooh, very, very heavy on the dialogue. It's a mech thing. It's a mech thing with a lot of women in it. A lot of women in it. A very lot of women in it. And Sonic on the back, which is nice. Yeah, I have no idea what this game is. This was also in that same shop for like a £5. And I thought, okay, why not? It's a comic shop near Leicester Square. They sell a lot of stuff in that comic shop, actually. It's not just like comics. It was also like... come on. The disc won't go back. The case won't go back. Please. Okay, so that's fudged. Yeah. Weird game. Weird couple of games. Don't know why I own them. They just happen to be in my collection for whatever reason. And the cases don't close, which is always a plus. Screw you then. You can stay shut. Anyway. Gun Griffin. The Eurasian Conflict. I believe this is one of the games that works with the... Yeah, now's a good time as any. Sega Saturn Twin Stick. This is a big old boy. I got this from Alan McCleskey, I think his name is, on Facebook. He runs Forgotten Worlds in Scotland. I think this is one of the few games that actually works with this, because this didn't come with Virtual On. Which is fine. Because I've got Virtual On PAL, and that works with it. I think I bought this off of him after... When did I buy this off him? I bought this off of him after I bought Metal Wolf Chaos. So I bought Metal Wolf Chaos off of Alan at the London Gaming Market about 6 years ago now. About 6 years ago. Unfortunately, that copy of Metal Wolf Chaos had disc rot, which was, you know, I was like, oh no, it's got disc rot, and I didn't check it until I got home. Luckily, I'd actually picked up a card of his and gone... And I messaged him and I went, oh, look, I'm really sorry I bought this off of you, you know, for 90 quid, which is a lot of money. I bought this off you for 90 quid. It's got this rot. And he went, oh no. Tell you what, would you like me to, do you want to send it back? And and in response, I'll send out anything to you. I'll send out anything you want, that you saw. And I'd seen this. I'd seen this bad boy. And you know what? I was like, tell you what. This was 80 quid. I said, tell you what, you keep the tenner. And if you can send that out, that'd be great. So we sent it out for free. No postage or anything. It's really nice of him. That showed up. Works. It's weirdly cold. I don't know why. Always has been. But yeah, it does work for Virtual On. I think it will work for Gun Griffin. I haven't actually given this much of a play. But yeah, if you played the other Gun Griffin games, I think this is very similar. I think it's quite similar to... What the heck was it called? Ooh, what was it called? It's going to annoy me. Mech Warrior. Yes, Mech Warrior 2. I know that's on the Saturn. I've been debating on getting it. We'll see. But yeah, Gun Griffin. I've played Gun Griffin. I played Allied Strike on the original Xbox. It's fine. It's not a series I'm super into. I'm not super into mech games. What I am into, occasionally, very occasionally, very, very, very particularly, is games like Darkseed. So, Darkseed is a game released by Cyberdreams Interactive Entertainment. Those are the guys behind I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, which they developed in conjunction with Harlan Ellison. They developed this, I believe, with the permission of H.R. Giger, the guy who is most well known for designing the alien from the Alien series, including Alien Romulus, which I think is coming out this year, later. I'm going to get dragged to that by my wife, which is fine. I'm dragging her to Sonic 3, so it doesn't matter. But this, yeah, it's... Oh! We'll get to this next one. Darkseed. Yeah, it's a point and click. Weirdly enough, entirely in English. Like, entirely. I don't know. I think some of the menus aren't, but beyond that, the entire thing, verbally, is in English. Unfortunately, Darkseid 2 isn't. Darkseid 2 was released in Japan, but that is only in Japanese, which is fine. It does make this game playable. I also had this on the... what was it called? Amiga CD32 before I got rid of that system, because that system was crap. That was during my phase where I was like, I'm going to collect every system from 5th gen. Bad idea. Bad idea. There's too many, and most of them are crap. So I just stuck with Saturn, 3DO, PlayStation 1, and N64. And to a lesser extent, the Virtual Boy. But, Darkseid, pretty solid game. It's alright. Yeah, I've played it like twice, and I was like, yeah, this is fine. So, I mentioned Heir of Zendor. In Japan, this is called Gotha 2. Gotha. I picked up Gotha 1. Yeah, that might explain the odd translation I completely forgot about Gotha, to be perfectly honest with you. This came with one of the bundles. I know nothing about it, other than Heir of Zendor is its sequel, but the sequel, they renamed it completely, so it's no longer Gotha 2, it's just Heir of Zendor. They released it in the West, with no context. It's kind of like Super Mario Bros. 2. That game is just, what was it called? Doki Doki Panic? Something like that. They took this other game, went, yeah, that'll do, we'll translate that, and it's like, what about the first one? No, it's not the first one, we're only going to do the sequel. Why? Because screw you, that's why. Very odd. Yeah. But that was kind of cool. My wife bought me this earlier this year? Last year? Late last year, one of the two. She bought me that, and then I found out it was actually a sequel to Gotha, which is pretty sick. Yeah, Mobile Suit Gundam. I think this is a mech game, obviously, but I think it's like a mech simulator. I don't really know. Oh, there's English on the disc. Universal Century. It is a period where the human beings have emigrated to outer space. The Earth was surrounded by hundreds of space colonies that became their land of adoption. Oh dear. In UC 0079, Side 3, whatever that means, the most distant space city from Earth, oh, I think it's a city, declared an independent war against the Federation in the name of Zion Republic. Shortly, in a short month after the outbreak of the war, half of the total population was killed. The people realized their potentially destructive power. 8 months had passed. Right. I mean, I've got a couple of Mobile Suit Gundam. I've got a couple of Gundam games. To be honest with you, don't know too much about Gundam. It's never really been something I've been into. It's just so much of it. Kind of like Pokemon for a lot of people nowadays. It's like, oh, there's so much of it. There's so much of the anime to watch. And you know what? Just don't want to. Slayers Royal 2. I know a bit about Slayers. I know it's a kind of mercenary-based anime. And this seems to be a tactical RPG of sorts. Might just be a box standard RPG, to be perfectly honest with you. But another thing I can't play. Got it from the same shop as where I got this one and Nadsiko, I think. I'm just going to blanketly call that one. Yeah, Slayers is okay. I've watched one episode of the anime. It's very generically 90s in its execution, but that's okay. Virtual Cop. I up until recently, didn't own a Sega Saturn light gun. So I had Virtual Cop 1, and I have Virtual Cop 2, but in fact, I've got that twice. Yeah, I got that twice. I got the long box version, and I've got the dual case. I don't actually own the English version of Virtual Cop, which is a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird. Maybe I'll pick it up. But yeah, I got the Japanese one. It's fine. It's a good game. It's Virtual Cop. You can't go wrong with Virtual Cop. Okay. I'm not even going to try and pronounce this, so I'm just going to call it by its Western title. Astal. I love this game. I genuinely do. I will freely admit this is a repro. This is a repro copy of the Japanese version because that has infinite lives. That has an infinite lives cheat, and the game, quite frankly, is just very expensive. I really like this game. I will pick this up properly. Not the American version, though. The American version is very expensive, and quite frankly, it doesn't have the unlimited cheats. Lives cheat, which is ridiculous. The Japanese version does, and I think it's perfectly playable without it. I've played this a few times. I love a style. I love it. I originally got into watching Sega Saturn videos on YouTube with Saturnology, who I think goes by Dave Toner now. Unfortunately, he doesn't upload anything on the Sega Saturn anymore, which I think is a crying shame, because I really liked his stuff. They're very short reviews. They were like 5 minutes a piece, but yeah, the Estelle one I just put on because I really liked the sound of the music. You know, it was very, very good. But yeah. Sword and Sorcery. I think it's a tactical RPG, kind of just going by the screenshots on the back. Yeah, very much. A lot of these I haven't actually played. Which is dreadful, but it's true. Very similarly, I've never played Devil Summoner, which is the first in the Shin Megami Tensei series by Atlas. The first one. This is the first one. This is where Persona originated from. And yeah, it's fine. I can't play it because it's in Japanese. Which is okay. Very similarly, I can't play Bomberman Wars. Bomberman Wars, I will freely admit, I bought this with the intention of, I thought it was Saturn Bomberman. It's not. It's kind of a tactical RPG, which is Bomberman. Very weird. Don't really recommend it. It's fine. This though, Toshinden Nura, which I think over here is Battle Arena Toshinden. Yeah, I found this. My mother and I were in London. We're in London, and we were kind of just going along. I think we're up near Covent Garden, and we ended up wandering into Leicester Square, around that area. And I went to that comic book shop again. And I was like, oh, you know, they had some Saturn games in there last time. They had this for about 20 quid. And you know what? Solid. Very, very solid fighting game. I really, really like Toshinden Ura. It's very, very good. I've debated on getting Battle Arena Toshinden. I think there's a remix one as well. Kind of like Virtua Fighter Remix, which is cool. But, yeah, I'll go for anything that's called Ultimate Revenge Attack. So that's apparently what Toshinden means. Ultimate Revenge Attack, if I'm just going by that. He speaks little. For this man, possessed with the desire for revenge, words have no meaning. Words, emotion, and hope for the future, all gone and all meaningless. The one motivation remaining for him is that of revenge. This man, whose name is Ripper, who does he fight for? He now prepares to face the ultimate battle to the death. To be honest with you, of all of the translated English I've read out today, that's the best. That is by far the best. Very good, very solid. Okay, we're now on the most expensive. The single most expensive import I own, which is, and I have been meaning to get others. I have been meaning to buy more import Japanese games, but importing so fucking expensive. Shadows of the Tusk. This game I have been fascinated with for a very, very long time. It's entirely in English. It's entirely playable. I found a 2-hour-long video online about it, which is a little wacky. But this was £200. It's £200. I played it a fair amount actually. It's very good. It's very good. My mum got this for me last year for my birthday, I think, and I love it. I love it. A big part of why I love it is it came with a full deck of cards, which is awesome. Pamela. Which I think is supposed to be Pamela Anderson, which is very, very, very strange. Just, yeah, I like the art style. It's very, very exaggerated. It's very weird. It's very Japan, if you know what I mean. It's very Japan. But yeah, it's kind of a game where I think you collect little monsters and you fight them in kind of tactical RPG, kind of like Shining Force, but on like a grid. So I think it's got more in common with, what was it called? Monster Monsters, I think it was called on the original, on Master System. No, Mega Drive. Yeah, on the Mega Drive. I think it's called that. Yeah, this game's awesome. It's very good. Do I think it's worth 200 quid though? Oh no, I think I bet them on the cards. It's fine. Don't bet the cards. It's very hard to just keep them in the box without them getting caught while you're trying to bloody close the bloody thing. Right, good enough. That'll do. Yeah, I really like this game. I think it's very, very solid. Heartily recommend it. Heartily recommended. Very solid. Probably my favourite import game I own, actually, outside of Magic Knight Rare. Yeah. So, that's it, guys. That is my rather extensive, and by extensive, I mean slightly extensive Sega Saturn collection of import games, which is cool. I think next week I'm just going to be talking a little bit about my time with Panzer Dragoon on the Sega Saturn. I know I did a Panzer Dragoon video last year, but I haven't really given the time to talk about it on the Saturn specifically. And as you can see, we have cleared out a fair amount of the shelf already, which is nice. But yeah, we'll have a look. I'm hoping that all of the games I've ordered for yeah, I'm hoping all the games I've ordered recently for the Sega Saturn will show up. It's been a week, which is nice, which is great. If they do, if they show up in the next couple of days, I might do another video on Saturday. If they don't, it will be kind of like a bonus video that I'll just post during the week. But yeah, if you've got any suggestions for other stuff you'd like to see me talk about for Sega Saturn Month, let me know in the comments, or let me know on Facebook, or wherever the hell I've shared this from and where you've come from. Let me know. Anyways, guys, that is me signing off, and I'll see you next week for Panzer Dragoon.